For these feature images, we have what is usually called cards. So we have here a card with an image, a heading, and some description. Okay, so this is very common layout in many websites. And we have 3 of them. Okay, so we have 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so this is each of the items which are inside a Flex container. Okay, so this Flex container, as well as the one that we have right here with the countdown, will have a wrap property. Okay, so when we don't have enough space, it will wrap and take the next line right here, taking full width in this case, and when it doesn't have enough space, it takes a different line. The problem with this is, if I remove this styling for the image, you can see that images take a lot of space. Okay, so if we remove this, they will always take one extra line because the images are taking a lot of space. But we don't want to define a specific size for the images, like, okay, I want a width of 200 pixels, because I want this to be responsive. So we can solve it this way. We can adding a flex one with a minimum width, so it takes that width of 250 pixels, each of them. Okay, but we want them to adapt. Okay, so when we don't have enough space, to go to the next line, which is doing right here, only by adding this flex one inside the flex wrap. Okay, and we also added a gap 2, which is another utility class right here. Okay, so we have some spacing in between the elements. Okay, I will show you that later, but first what we need to do is to solve the problem with the images that are taking a lot of space. So we only add a maximum width of 100%, and now it's taking the size of the parent container, which is that this one right here, feature item. Okay, with a border radius, so it's rounded, and a margin bottom, so we have some spacing in between. In fact, I'm going to, I think, reduce it a little bit in between the image and the text. Okay, so this is the basic styling that allows us to have this responsive design. So when we have space, each one takes one column. When we don't have enough space, the column collapses at 250 pixels. Okay, so when the size is smaller than 250 pixels, it collapses. Okay, so let me show you this. It has exactly 253 pixels right now. You can see it next to the image text right here. Okay, so 253 pixels. When it's small enough, it collapses and it takes the full width because it's defined right here. Okay, and as you can see, each of the elements, if we go to the parent container, have this purple spacing right here. That purple spacing is defined by the gap. Okay, if I remove, we don't have the gap. Now we have it. Okay, in between all the elements. That's made with this gap with utility class that we created right here. Okay, gap 2. Okay, and we apply it to the parent container. This heading is text center. This is basic with the container and container padding, which we already learned about. Okay, so we have the padding right here and the container with a width of 90%, etc. And I also made something. Okay, we have here lots of headings, and they were small and very close together to the content. So I added not an utility class, but just a styling to all the heading 3, and I changed the font size to make them bigger, and a little bit of margin bottom. Okay, so we have some spacing in between each element. In fact, I can add a little bit more because all these headings are H3, so now we have a little bit more of spacing, and the font is bigger. I can even make it bigger if I want to. Okay, so this is the feature images. It's a main section with the class features, which is only applying this background right here. Okay, so let me show you. It's applying this background color, and now we have this container padding, text center. In fact, this color is being applied to 2 places, so we can maybe add container secondary and apply this background color. That's something we can do and refactor. Okay, the code can change as many times as you want to improve it, but I think I'm going to leave it like it is right now. And we add the feature item with the flex one. Okay, so it takes the space it has to with this minimum width, and the text align centered. This is only centering this text, and the image is taking the full width, so it's responsive and it's not taking that many space. Okay, and border radius to make it look better, and a margin bottom. That's it.